Hello and good afternoon, everyone. So actually, we are already in chapter 6. We are already in the new chapter, which is chapter scheduling. Okay. For last week, we have already discussed on chapter inventory management, right? Okay, but for today we will discuss on the next topic, which is scheduling. Okay, scheduling, which is aggregate planning and short-term scheduling. Okay, so actually, why we need to do this? Why we need to learn this topic? Because we want to know um, the importance, okay, the importance of planning, okay, aggregate planning, okay, to manufacturing. So normally in a manufacturing company, okay, they would produce the product in a bulk, okay, they would produce in a bulk, okay, in a big quantity amount, okay. So that means the bulk itself, they have to separate, they have to divide um, into a group, okay, into a group or into a cluster, right? Maksudnya dia akan produce, because biasanya kilang ni dia akan produce satu produk, okay, dalam kuantiti yang besar dan dalam satu kuantiti yang banyak. So sepatutnya, okay, this manufacturing company, they have to plan, okay, they have to plan on the quantity, okay, they have to plan on the quantity they have to plan on the quantity or units of the products that they want to produce, okay, in a certain day, okay, in a certain day or in a certain period. Maksudnya dia kena plan tau, kilang-kilang ni dia sepatutnya kena plan berapa banyak yang diorang nak produce, okay, berapa unit produce yang diorang, berapa unit produk yang diorang nak produce, okay, untuk sesetengah masa, okay, for a certain period. Let's say in a daily, okay, let's say in a month, okay, or maybe in a week lah. Okay, maksudnya contohlah for a producer of the car, okay, for a producer of the car, they have to plan, okay, they have to plan for how many units, okay, for how many units of products, okay, for how many units of the car they want to produce, okay, in a day, okay. They have to plan it to on how many units of car they want to produce in a day, or maybe in a week, or maybe in a month. Itu semua kita kena fikir, okay. So that's why we need to learn on this topic, okay, on how would this manufacturing company need to plan, okay, on the amount or units of quantity, okay, or units of quantity of product that they want to produce for a certain period of time, okay. And they also need to have a scheduling, proper scheduling. Dia kena ada satu jadual. Macam you juga kan, macam you juga as a student, you as a student as well, okay, you have your own timetable, okay. And then you have your own timetable according to your cohort, right? According to your cohort, according to your intake, okay, according to the courses. That is how our college, okay, that is how our college plan, okay, plan on the scheduling, okay, they have to plan on the scheduling, they have to plan on the students, okay. Dia kena bahagikan student-student ni mengikut intake, okay, according to intake, according to cluster, according to the courses, okay. And then macam you punya juga timetable, you all punya timetable tu sama juga. Timetable you all mungkin tak sama dengan kawan you daripada cohort yang lain. Mungkin you dengan kawan you course yang sama-sama SPP, tapi mungkin timetable teenage tak sama dengan timetable Sugen. Contohnya macam itulah. Okay, because we have to plan on, we have to aggregate them. Aggregate maksudnya you kena pecahkan. Okay, you can pecahkan, you have to divide these students according to the cluster. Same goes as to manufacturing company. Okay, so as to manufacturing company as well, they have to divide. Okay, they have to make sure that it's planning, okay, on how many units of products that they want to produce, okay, for a certain time of period. Let's say according to day, okay, according to the week, or according to month, right? So what is actually scheduling? Okay, schedule decision begins with capacity planning, where the plans are usually annually or quarterly. So sebelum ni sebelum diorang nak pecahkan, okay, before you go for an aggregate planning, that means you first you need to go for capacity planning. Capacity planning pula maksudnya you have to plan on the capacity. How to plan on the capacity? That means you can plan on your capacity. For example, you need to plan, okay, on how much unit of product you want to produce annually. Capacity ni maksudnya is dalam dia produce produk tu dalam satu kuantiti yang besar dan banyak dalam satu tempoh masa yang panjang. Alright. So macam juga lift lah. Okay, for example like a lift. Okay, lift you tengok you pergi shopping mall, you tengok lift. You naik lift, you tengok berapa ramai orang yang boleh muat, okay, untuk satu lift dalam satu tempoh yang samalah. Berapa ramai, maksudnya satu lift tu boleh muat berapa ramai orang untuk satu tempoh tertentu. Okay, for example, for a lift they would have maximum capacity of like 500 kg for one time. Lebih daripada 500 kg lift tu runtuh. Okay, tu susahlah. Okay, so sama juga macam ni lah. Okay, so maksudnya company tu untuk biasanya kilang-kilang ni dia akan buat forecasting lah. Okay, dia akan buat prediction or forecasting to know on how much units or quantity of products that they want to produce for annually or maybe for quarterly. Okay, so aggregate planning decides on the usage of facilities, inventory, people, and outside contractors. Okay, so aggregate planning or aggregate scheduling, an approach to determine the quantity and timing of production for the intermediate future. It is normally done monthly, and resources are allocated in terms of an aggregate measures, total units, tons, or shop hours. Okay, so in the real world, aggregate planning involves a lot of trial and error lah. So of course it is somehow occurs lah, involve trial and error lah. Maksudnya mungkin dalam satu tahun tu you want to produce for example like 10,000 units of the car, contohlah dalam tempoh satu tahun tu mungkin kilang you nak produce sebanyak 10,000 unit of the car untuk tempoh satu tahun. Tapi kadang-kadang you cannot meet that capacity. You tak boleh pun nak produce 10,000 unit dalam satu tahun. Sometimes you cannot achieve that criteria lah. Sometimes you cannot achieve that target. Okay. So what is the objective of aggregate planning? Okay, to minimize costs over the planning period and to smooth employment levels, inventory levels, overtime work, subcontracting rates, and other controllable variables. Okay, so aggregate planning is part of larger production planning system in the manufacturing environment. The process of breaking the aggregate plan down into greater details is known as disaggregation. Okay, so maksudnya mungkin dalam satu tahun tu you nak produce your company, okay, your manufacturing company want to produce for 10,000 units of the car, okay, and then daripada 10,000 unit of the car tu you nak pecah, okay, you nak pecah kepada you want to plan to produce for example like 2,000 units of the car in a month, okay. And then daripada sebulan tu mungkin you pecahkan lagi, okay, you want to produce Like for example, 100 units of the car in a week, for example lah, and then dipecahkan lagi, mungkin dalam tempoh satu minggu tu you nak produce sebanyak 50 units of the car for one day. Macam tu lah. So that means disaggregation. Okay, disaggregation means when you break down. Okay, it is a process of breaking the aggregate plan down into greater details. Okay, so this aggregation result in master production schedule or MPS, where it will break down the aggregate plan and develop a schedule for specific products or product lines for each week. Okay, so we have 4 things needed for aggregate planning: a logical overall unit for measuring sales and output, such as aircon units. Okay, so the unit must be logic lah. Units must be measured. Maksudnya units must be measured, must be counted, can be counted. For example, units of the car. Macam kat sini dia bagi contoh units of aircon lah. Units of the car or units of the box, okay, units of the bottle, for example, okay, macam itulah, right? Something that you can count, you can measure. Okay, and second, a focus of demand for a reasonable intermediate planning period in these aggregate terms. And then third one, okay, so nombor 2 tu maksudnya something that you can demand the forecast. Okay, maknanya benda tu you boleh, maknanya demand tu you boleh forecast. Okay, you can forecast the demand, you can predict the demand. Let's say in next month you boleh produce berapa banyak unit that you can produce. Okay, for example, for how many unit you can produce in next month. All right. And then number 3, a method to determine the cost. Okay, maksudnya you tahulah, you should know how to count the cost, how to put the cost, how to calculate the cost of production, for example. Okay, and then number 4, a model that combines forecast and cost so that scheduling decisions can be made for the planning period. Okay, all right, and this is the planning horizons lah. Okay, the timeline. Okay, planning timeline. Okay, from the top executive, operation managers. Okay, and then goes down to supervisors and foremen. Okay, for example, top executive like CEO, CEO lah biasanya, CEO ke presiden ke. Okay, they have to plan. Okay, they have to do a long range plans. Okay, that means the plans will be done over 1 year, melebihi 1 tahun. Okay, and then they should involve more into R&D activities, okay, research and development activities, and then they should have new product plans, capital investment. They should know where should be their facility location, okay, and how would they expand the location, okay. And then operation managers, they should have intermediate range plans. Maksudnya dalam pertengahan lah, okay. And then this plan should be done within 3 to 18 months. Kalau long range plan maksudnya you memerlukan masa yang lama, okay. You need more times, okay, more than 1 year for you to do planning, okay. Whereas intermediate range plans, that means you are doing your planning, okay, within 3 to 18 months. Okay, daripada 3 bulan sampai ke 18 bulan. Okay, and then you should have this sales planning, okay, production planning and budgeting. You can set your employment, you can set your inventory, you can invest more in your inventory, and then you can do subcontracting, okay, and then you can analyze your operating plans. Okay, number 3, you should have operation managers here, supervisors and foremen, in which these people do short range plans. Okay, short range plans should be done up to 3 months. Dia boleh guna daripada tempoh 1 hingga mungkin daripada tempoh 1 hingga 3 bulan. Because 3 to 18 months considered to be intermediate range plans. Okay, tapi short range plans, so it is normally done within 1 to 3 months. Okay, alright. So what these OM operation managers do and supervisors do, they can do job assignments, ordering, job scheduling, dispatching, overtime or part time lah. Okay, so this is how you aggregate, planning on your aggregate. Maksudnya aggregate tu maksudnya cluster, kumpulan, group. How you are going to break down your productions. Okay, how are you going to break down your productions? Okay, your units of productions. Okay, to become a smaller units. Okay, to be produced in a certain period of time. Okay, let's say here you are the producer of lawn mower here. Producer apa ni? Apa tu dia? Mesin potong rumput tu kan. Okay, let's say you forecast to produce this lawn mower according to quarter. Let's say we have quarter 1, quarter 2 and quarter 3. So quarter 1 we should have January, February and March. Okay, maksudnya you forecast, okay, you forecast to produce this lawn mower, okay, according to quarter, which is quarter 1, okay, daripada bulan 1, bulan 2 dengan bulan 3. Okay, bulan 1 maksudnya you nak produce 150,000. Bulan 2 you nak produce 120,000. Bulan 3, okay, you want to produce 110,000. Okay, and then goes to quarter 2. Quarter 2 you pecahkan kepada 3 bulan. Maksudnya setiap bulan ni, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3 ni we have 3 months. 3 months for each quarter. Okay, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so for quarter 2 you produce starting from April, May until June. Let's say for April you want to produce for about 100,000 units of this lawn mower. Okay, for quarter 2 you want to produce, let's say 130,000 lawn mower. Okay, for June, okay, you want to produce 150,000. Okay, and then move to quarter 3. Okay, for quarter 3 you should have July, August, September. Okay, for example, in the month of July you want to produce 180,000. For month of August you want to produce for 150,000. For month of September you want to produce 140,000. This is how you break down your productions according to the quarter. Okay, according to the quarter, in which each quarter should have 3 months. Okay, untuk quarter 1 kita ada bulan 1, 2, 3, quarter 2 kita ada bulan 4, 5 dan 6, quarter 3 kita ada bulan 7, 8 dan 9. Okay. Alright. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of these aggregate planning options. Okay, so I will go first with these aggregate planning strategies. We should have capacity options, demand options and mixing options. Okay, kita ada tiga strategies in aggregate planning. First is capacity options, in which a firm can choose from the following basic capacity options. Capacity options maksudnya you boleh let's say your manufacturing company can adjust in terms of capacity. Berapa banyak capacity? Okay, for how many units of capacity you want to produce a unit of car, for example. Okay, in 1 month. Okay, for example, first you can use inventory. You can adjust in terms of the level of inventory. Okay, second, you can adjust in terms of number of your work site, in terms of number of your workforce, number pekerja. You boleh adjust dari segi number pekerja yang you ada. Mungkin you can terminate them, or maybe you can hiring the new workers. Okay. And then another option is to varying production rates through overtime or idle time. That means you can adjust in terms of number of production. Okay, you can adjust in terms of number of production rates through overtime. That means when you require your workers to do overtime, okay, that means your worker need to work in an extra hours, extra long hours. That means during overtime they have to produce more and more outputs, okay, for your company. Okay, and then we should have subcontracting. Subcontracting maksudnya you ambil orang luar. Okay, you ambil orang luar sebagai pekerja kontrak lah, for example. Okay, to work with you. Okay, to work with you, that means to expand the number of products, okay, to be produced for your factory, for example. Okay. And then another option is to use part-time workers. Okay. Another strategy is to have demand options. Okay, demand options where you can influencing demand, you can forecast demand, or maybe you can back ordering during high demand periods. Back ordering ni maksudnya you require people to make an order first before the product is being produced. Okay, so itu benda normal. Okay, and then counter seasonal product and service mixing. Counter seasonal product tu maksudnya bila mana you tahu contohnya during festival season, contohnya during hari raya, you know that there should be more people to buy kuih raya. Okay, so that's why the producer of kuih raya have to produce the kuih raya in a big number of in a big quantity. Maksudnya dia kena produce lebih lah daripada permintaan. Okay. Why they need to do such thing? Because they want to fulfill the demand during festival season. Okay, so here are the advantages and disadvantages of these options. Okay, for example, changing inventory levels. Advantages: changes in human resource gradual or none. Okay, disadvantages: inventory holding cost may increase, shortage may result in lost sales. Okay, another options is to varying workforce size by hiring or layoff. Advantages should be avoids the cost of other alternative. Disadvantages should be in terms of hiring. There must be some hiring, or you can terminate people. Okay, termination occur, layoff people occur. Okay, and maybe you can give some training, okay, to your workers, and which involve many costs, right? And then another option is to varying production rates through overtime or idle time. Okay, the advantages: you can match seasonal fluctuation without hiring or training costs. Okay, disadvantages: overtime premiums, tired workers. Okay, bila banyak sangat overtime, so you can become fatigued. Okay, workers can become tired and fatigued and stressed lah. Itu pun bahaya juga lah. So it may affect your health conditions. Okay, and then we should have another option, which is subcontracting. Advantages should be where company can permit flexibility and smoothing the firm's output, whereas disadvantages, you may have loss of quality control, reduced profits, loss of future business. Okay, and then another options is using part-time workers. Advantages, you may have less cost lah. Okay, less costly and more flexible than full-time workers. Disadvantages, you should have high turnover, training costs, quality suffers, case suffer scheduling difficult. Maksudnya bila you hire more part-time workers, maksudnya scheduling tu can become difficult lah. Maksudnya you kena buat jadual untuk diorang pula. Okay, and then this part-time workers ni dia sentiasa berubah-ubah. Okay, part-time worker ni sentiasa pekerjanya sentiasa berubah, sentiasa berganti-ganti lah. So that's why you may have some difficulties into their scheduling. Okay, and then next option should be influencing demand. Advantages, where you can try to use excess capacity, discounts, draw new customers. Disadvantages, uncertainty in demand, hard to match demand to supply exactly. Okay, and then next option should be back ordering during high demand periods. Advantages, may avoid overtime, keeps capacity constant. Disadvantages, customer must be willing to wait, but goodwill is lost. Okay, another option is counter seasonal product and service mixing. This is when you can fully utilize your resources. Okay, this is your advantages, and it allows stable workforce. Okay, another disadvantages should be you require more skills lah. Okay, because for example macam during festival season kan, like hari raya ke, okay, where you need to produce more of kuih raya kan, because the demand is increasing. That's why we need more skilled workers lah. You can hire lebih banyak orang untuk bantu you, okay, to help your manufacturing, okay, in terms of the production. Okay, you perlukan lebih banyak pekerja lah untuk buat kerja-kerja buat kuih raya semua tu kan, untuk in terms of packaging, labeling and so on lah. Okay, or maybe in terms of delivery. So that's why you need to have an extra workers. Okay, and ini I dah cover. And we should have here short-term scheduling. What is short-term scheduling? You can translate capacity decisions, okay, aggregate planning and master schedules into job sequences and specific assignments of personnel, materials and machinery. Okay, short-term scheduling maknanya you buat schedule lah, you need a schedule, okay, for a short-term period, okay, where you can translate capacity decisions, aggregate planning, master schedules into job sequences and specific assignments of personnel, materials and machinery. What are the strategic importance of scheduling? Okay, so you can have an effective scheduling where it should have a faster movement of goods and services through your facility. Okay, in which if you have more sophisticated and advanced technology and equipment, that means you can have a clear scheduling of your product. Okay, contoh for example macam kat McDonald's should have a proper scheduling. For example, mungkin for example in terms of how to what we call that, how to assign the job workers, okay, how to assign the job of the workers' job, and then how to assign the part-timers, okay, how to assign the food deliveries, okay, food deliveries people. Kita boleh assign diorang lah siapa yang nak kena hantar McDonald orders to the customers at home and so on. Okay, and contohnya macam dekat McDonald juga, okay, they would have their kitchen utensils semua tu kan. Okay, maknanya dia boleh buat jadual. Okay, contohnya untuk hari ni berapa banyak dia nak produce burger. Okay, berapa banyak dia nak produce burger fillet o fish. Contohnya dalam satu hari maybe they want to produce like 50 units of fillet o fish burger. Okay, and then another schedule they should have to produce. They should have another schedule in which they should produce for another 50 units of chicken burger. Okay, and then untuk schedule malam pula mungkin dia target untuk produce for example 20 unit. Mungkin malam tak ramai, mungkin malam tak ramai, mungkin you want to reduce the number of units burger. Okay, you can produce or you can cook like 40 units of fillet o fish burger to your customers. Okay, so that means you can do an effective scheduling lah. You can have a faster movement of goods and services through your equipment. Okay, and then you should have an added capacity, faster throughput, and the related flexibility mean better customer service through faster delivery. And then you should have a good scheduling. Good scheduling also contributes into realistic commitment and hence dependable delivery. Okay. All right. So here are some of example of scheduling decisions which we have organization here. For example, macam hospital, university, factory, maybe cafe or restaurant, also the airlines industry. Okay, for example macam hospital, what they must schedule in terms of operating room use, patient admissions, dia kena ada jadual. Macam anak I pun ada appointment kan. So dia orang kena buat appointment macam tu lah. So bila tarikh, okay? When is the date for them to maksudnya contohlah doktor kena buat tarikh appointment untuk patient dia. Contoh macam anak I kena tahulah. Okay, I kena tahu doktor kena tarikh bila. Okay, tarikh bila appointment untuk anak I. Okay, contohnya macam hari tu anak I baru discharge bulan 9 hari tu, so dia ada banyak appointment. Okay, there is like several appointments which I have to attend for my baby. Okay, and then mungkin dalam appointment tu mungkin tak adalah setiap bulan ada appointment, mungkin 2 bulan sekali. So it's according to the schedule lah, according to appointment. Sama juga macam hospital lah. Okay, so that is the way how the doctors set an appointment to the patients. Okay, set an appointment. So that means appointments mean the doctors should set a proper scheduling of appointment for the patients. Okay, operating room use, patient admissions, nursing, security, maintenance staff, outpatient treatments. Okay, contohlah dalam satu ward tu dalam satu ward tu mungkin cuma boleh muat untuk let's say 50 orang patient sahaja. So dia kena buat the proper scheduling. Tak boleh dalam satu hari tu semua nak kena sumbat 50 orang, tak boleh. Dia kena ada proper schedule lah. Contohnya dalam satu hari tu mungkin dia boleh ambil 5 patients, kan. Mungkin dalam besok mungkin dia boleh ambil lagi 5 patients. Mungkin hari the next following day maybe the hospital can put another 5 patients to that ward. Macam itulah. Okay. Sebab I ada pengalaman juga lah, pernah duduk kat ward dulu kan during my baby delivery kan, so I can see that dalam satu ward tu ada ramai patient katil tu berderet and then I can see that kejap-kejap ada patient baru masuk. Sejam berikutnya ada patient baru masuk, baru dipindahkan ke ward I lah, ward yang I duduk macam tu. Okay, and then we should have university or college like us lah. Okay, we should schedule our classroom. Okay, macam you juga you have your own timetable kan, you ada timetable sendiri. Macam I juga, I pun ada timetable lecturers. Macam you pun ada student timetable. Okay, because we want to allocate the classroom and students. Tak naklah kelas clashing kan. Kalau kelas clashing tu seksa lah, tiba-tiba alamak tak boleh lah miss, tak boleh lah madam, I punya kelas clash dengan subjek ni. Tak nak lah. So we want to avoid such things lah. Okay, and then for university and college we want to schedule the classroom, audio visual equipment. Okay, we want to, yes, macam I cakap tadi, we want to allocate the student and instructor or lecturer schedules, and then as well as the graduate and undergraduate courses. Okay, for factory, we should have production of goods, purchases of materials, and workers. Okay, for Hard Rock Cafe, chef, waiters, and bartenders, okay, when to deliver the fresh foods. Okay, who was supposed to be the entertainers? Ini contoh macam Hard Rock Cafe lah. Okay, and then opening for dining areas. Okay, for Delta, for example, the airline macam AirAsia, Mars Airlines. Okay, what they need to schedule? Okay, they need to schedule the maintenance of aircraft. Maintenance lah, service and maintenance kan. Kapal terbang tu nak kena maintain juga, nak kena service. Sama juga macam kereta kita kan, kereta you all pun nak kena ada service, nak kena bila nak kena service, bila nak kena tukar minyak hitam kan, bila nak kena check itu ini, banyak benda. So you even kereta you pun ada scheduling. Okay, apatah lagi untuk kapal terbang kan. Okay. And then they should have a departure timetables. Yes, departure and arrival timetables. Alamak, cakap pasal airline ni dah lama tak pergi travel kan. Okay, so for the airport, they should have departure and arrival timetables lah. Okay, and then flight crews, catering, gate and ticketing personnel. Okay, macam you juga kalau lagi you nak pergi mana-mana kan, you ada tiket kan. Dekat tiket tu akan tunjuk tarikh you, the date of your departure, the time of your departure, and then time of your arrivals. Okay, and then the gate number. Okay, best lah kalau dah lama kan tak travel kan. Okay, alright. So this is a scheduling flow. For example, here. First we don't have the capacity planning, and then we goes for aggregate planning. Okay, aggregate planning can be in terms of intermediate, okay, quarterly or monthly, and then goes for master schedule and goes for short term scheduling. Okay, capacity plan here, for example, you can adjust capacity to demand. Okay, suggested by strategic plan, aggregate production plan for all bikes, determine personnel or subcontracting necessary to match aggregate demand to existing facilities or capacity. And then we should have master production schedule for bike modules. This is how you schedule your product according to weekly, right? And then goes to short-term scheduling where you schedule your products in terms of days, hours, minutes. Okay, you should have work center loading, job sequencing, dispatching, where you can assign your work, okay, assign the work to specific personnel and work centers, right? So scheduling, what is scheduling? So scheduling involves assigning due dates to specific jobs, but many jobs compete simultaneously for the same resources. Therefore, we can categorize scheduling techniques into forward scheduling and backward scheduling. Okay, so forward scheduling, what is forward scheduling? The schedule that starts as soon as the requirements are known, widely used in hospitals, clinics, okay, fine dining restaurants, where in these facilities jobs are performed according to customer orders. Okay, and delivery is often requested as soon as possible. Forward scheduling ni maknanya once you go to the restaurant, okay, you sit down, you order your food, then after 5 minutes, then you get your food. Itulah, that is forward scheduling. Okay, so delivery is often requested as soon as possible. Sama juga macam you order food delivery kan through Food Panda. Okay, you order food delivery through Food Panda, and then dia akan ada certain period of time. For example, within 20 minutes, your food will be arrived. Okay, by the time you make order of food through Food Panda, so within 20 minutes the food arrive at your house. Macam itulah. Okay, can be so forward scheduling can be accomplished even it means not meeting the due date, and this causes an increase in process inventory. Okay, how about backward scheduling? Backward scheduling begins with the due date and schedule the final operation first and other job steps in reverse order. Okay, it's used in many manufacturing environments as well as service environments such as catering, banquets, or scheduling surgery. Okay, by subtracting the lead time for each item, the start time is obtained. However, the resources necessary to accomplish may not exist. Okay, so backward scheduling begins with the due date and schedule the final operation first and other job steps in reverse order. Okay, contohnya macam catering lah, catering banquets or scheduling surgery. Maksudnya backward scheduling ni you have to make an appointment first. For example macam ke hospital lah. For example, in a hospital, contohlah you ada appointment apa? Appointment gigi kan, appointment braces. Maksudnya you sebelum apa ni, maksudnya before you go to next checking of your braces, okay, you need to do an appointment first before you meet your doctor, okay, for the next checking of, for the next braces checking lah. Maksudnya sebelum you datang untuk following month untuk check you punya braces, maksudnya awal-awal lagi you kena buat appointment. Okay, that is backward scheduling. Okay. And then different process or different approaches. Process focus for facilities, forward-looking schedules, MRP due dates, forward-looking schedules and MRP due dates, finance capacity schedulings, work cells, forward-looking schedules, MRP due dates, detailed schedule done using work cell priority rules. Okay, repetitive facilities, forward-looking schedule with a balanced line. Okay, pull techniques for scheduling, product focus facilities, forward-looking schedule with stable demand and fixed capacity. Okay, capacity set up and runtimes known, capacity limited by long-term capital investment. Okay, so these are the different processes and different approaches of the scheduling, of the aggregate scheduling. Okay, so what are the criteria of scheduling? We have 4 criteria of scheduling here, in which first to minimize completion time. Okay, minimize completion time. This criteria is evaluated by determining the average completion time per job. Okay, so kalau kita nak apa ni? Kalau kita nak how do we want to make sure we do a proper scheduling? That means you can minimize the completion time. Completion time in what? Completion time of your product. Okay, and then we can maximize utilization. What maximize utilization in terms of what? In terms of utilization of resources and equipment. Okay, so this is evaluated by determining the percent of time the facility is utilized. Okay, another scheduling criteria is to minimize work in progress or WIP inventory. So this is evaluated by determining the average number of jobs in the system. Okay, the next criteria should be minimize customer waiting time. Okay, minimize customer waiting time. Pernah tak macam you pergi restoran, okay, you pergi restoran and then you order makanan you, and then lebih 10 minit tak sampai-sampai makanan you. So maksudnya you have a that means that restaurant cannot meet that criteria. Okay, for example macam McDonald juga. McDonald pun they have this criteria of scheduling. Okay, that means they should have to minimize customer waiting time. Dia tak nak customer dia menunggu terlalu lama. Contohnya macam kalau once you go to McDonald, okay, you make an order, you go to the counter, you make an order, and then within 3 minutes, your food must be prepared for you. So after 3 minutes, maksudnya McDonald's cannot reach the standard. Okay. So minimize customer waiting time. This is evaluated by determining the average number of late days. Okay. Okay, how to schedule process focus facilities? You can schedule incoming orders without violating capacity constraints. You can check availability of tools and materials before releasing an order, establish due dates for each job and check progress, check work in progress, provide feedback, provide work efficiency statistics, and monitor times. Okay, and what are the planning and control files? Planning files. Okay, in aggregate scheduling, we should have planning files and control files. Planning files, an item master file contains information about each component. A routing file indicates each component's flow through the shop. Number 3, a work center master file contains information about the work center, whereas control files track the actual progress made against the plan. Okay. Rasa ini tak penting. Okay, in scheduling jobs, in aggregate scheduling, you must have a proper loading jobs where you can assign jobs so that cost, idle time, or completion time can be minimized. Okay, we should have 2 forms of loading: capacity oriented and assigning specific jobs to work centers. Okay. Ini contoh input output control. Input output control identifies overloading and underloading conditions. So this is just example of input output. Ini tak penting sangat lah. Okay. Okay. Options available to operations personnel include: you can correct your performance. Okay. Increasing capacity, increasing or reducing input to the work center. Okay. Pernah dengar tak Gantt chart? Okay, Gantt chart ni macam timeline lah. Okay, timeline. Macam maksudnya macam you juga, you macam you lah student student should have a proper timeline, timeline of your assignment. Contohnya macam you should know when should complete Madam Izzatul assignment. And then you should know when to complete Madam Syamini's punya assignment. Okay, and then you should know when to complete Miss Sharon's punya assignment. Itu contoh lah. Okay, so that is Gantt charts. Okay, it provide a proper timeline. Okay, for the manufacturing company to know when is the expected date for them to produce the output. Okay, so Gantt chart, load chart shows the loading and idle times of departments, machines, or facilities. It displays relative workloads over time. Schedule chart monitors jobs in process. So all Gantt charts need to be updated frequently to account for changes. Okay, this is Gantt load chart example. Okay, for example, metalworks. Okay, work center, metalworks day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Metalworks job 349 should be done in Monday. Okay, on Monday, and then job 350 should be done from Wednesday sampai Friday. Mechanical, okay, mechanical Isnin tak ada. Okay, it starts from Tuesday and until Wednesday for job 349. Okay, and then untuk Thursday, job 408 pula. Okay, and then work center for electronics, Monday should be job 408 should be sambung lah sini job 408 should be done on Monday, and Tuesday dengan Wednesday tak ada job, and then Friday tak ada job, only that on Thursday baru ada job kat sini. Okay, painting cuma hari Khamis je tak ada. Okay, so painting only done for Monday and Tuesday for job 295, and then on Wednesday they only have job 408. Okay, and then yang merah-merah ni, which is center is not available. Okay, all right. So assignment method. What is assignment method? A special class of linear programming models that assigns tasks or jobs to resources. Objective is to minimize cost or time. Only job or worker is assigned. Only one job or worker is assigned to one machine or project. Maksudnya satu machine tu sepatutnya was being operated or was being conducted by only one worker. This is assignment method. Okay, contohlah build assignment method, build a table of cost or time associated with particular assignment. We have R34, S66, T50. Tak settle A, B, C kat sini. Okay, 11, 14, 6. Kena contoh lah. Alright, so then we move into the sequencing job. Okay, sequencing job scheduling provides a basis to assign jobs to work centers. Loading is a capacity control technique that highlights overloads and underloads. Okay, sequencing, also known as dispatching, specifies the order in which jobs should be done at each center. Okay, sequencing determine the order in which jobs should be done. Sequencing ni maksudnya you kena tahulah berapa banyak order. Determine the order in which job should be done. Determine maksudnya you kena tahulah susunan jobs. You have to know the arrangement. Okay, the arrangement of the jobs that need to be done for a certain period of time. Okay, that is sequencing. Okay, and then we should have priority rules. Okay, in sequencing we should have certain rules. Okay, you should know what are the rules that is used to determine the job sequence in the process of facilities. Okay, in process-oriented facilities. Okay, priority rules for dispatching jobs: first come, first serve, as FCFS. The first job to arrive at a work center is processed first. B, shortest processing time, SPT. The shortest jobs are handled first and completed. C, earliest due date or EDD. The job within the earliest due date is selected first. D, longest processing time or LPT. The longer, bigger jobs are often very important and selected first. Okay. All right. So this is sequencing example. Okay. This is sequencing example for in terms of FCFS. Okay, so we have here apply the 4 popular sequencing rules to these 5 jobs: job work and job due. We have job A, B, C, D, and E. We have job work here processing. Berapa lama kita nak proses untuk satu job? Okay, mungkin memakan masa 6 hari, 2 hari. 6 hari untuk A, 2 hari untuk B, 8 hari untuk C, 3 days for D, 9 days for E. Job due date, okay, job due date 8 hari lah. Due date-nya you cuma ada masa 8 hari untuk for you to complete your task, for you to complete your job. You require only 6 days to complete your job. Okay, you require 18 days, ni lama sikit, 18 hari Okay, 18 hari to complete your job. You require 15 days to complete your job D here. Okay, and then you require 23 days to complete your job, job E here. Okay, kat sini maksudnya you ada 8 hari, you ada masa 8 hari untuk complete your task, tapi you boleh you boleh habiskan completion time tu within 6 days for example. Okay, FCFS sequence A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, sequence A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, job work, flow time, job due date, 8 hari, job lateness mungkin tak ada lah. Okay, kat sini job work. Okay, job work you need 2 days for you to process your work here. Flow time 8 hari, job due date 6 hari. So you ada 2 hari lambat kat sini. 2 days of delay here. Okay, and lah. Right, so 16. Okay, and then 2, 3. Okay, so okay, for job D, you should have flow time for 19, job due date you require 15 days, so job lateness should be 4 hari lambat. 4 hari delay. And if flow time for job E, you should have 28 days flow time, but due date is only require 23 days to complete your task, so you have 5 days delay here. Okay. What else here? Okay, ni I tak nak sentuh sangat lah. Okay. Alright, so okay, so what else here? This is just only your general knowledge, average completion time, utilization metric, average number of job in the system, average job lateness. Okay, average completion time, sum of total flow time over number of jobs, total job work time divided by sum of total flow time, average number of jobs in the system, sum of total flow time divided by total job work time, average job lateness, the total late days divided by number of jobs. Okay. Macam mana dapat 68 ni? 68 ni total sini, total 68 of flow time, total work processing time is 28. So you got 68 bahagi dengan 5. Okay, 68 bahagi dengan 5 jobs here. Okay, you should have 5 jobs kan? B, A, D, C, E. Okay. Bahagi dengan 5, 13.6, utilization metric, total job work time divide by sum of total work time, 28 bahagi dengan 68. Okay, 28 bahagi dengan 68, you dapat 41.2%, darab 100 And then average number of jobs in the system, 68, okay, sum of total flow time divide by job total work time, 68 bahagi dengan 28, 68 bahagi dengan 28 ni 68 bahagi dengan 28, so you dapat 2.43 jobs. Average job lateness, total late days divide by number of jobs, 6/5, you got 1.12 days. Okay, and then yang tadi tu is FCFS. Okay, alright. So and then this is SPT. Okay, dia senang macam ni je. Kalau FCFS, FCFS, first job to arrive at work center is process first. Yang mana sampai dulu yang tu dia akan proses dululah. Okay. So sequence A, B, C, D, and E tu FCFS. Kalau SPT, short processing time. Short processing time yang mana require which one require the shortest one, the shortest processing time. I think It is B, right? B. Okay, so B should start first. So B goes to D, A, C, and E. Okay, and then EDD. What is EDD? Earliest due date. When is the earliest due date? Earliest due date paling cepat sekali adalah B, kan? Okay, due date yang paling cepat sekali adalah B. So we should have B, A, B, C, and E. Yeah. Oh, kunci you boleh ambil dekat bawah, dekat level. Tak ada ke? Hah? Tak ada. Alamak. Boleh tunggu sekejap tak? Ayah ada kelas kejap Kejap. Okay, kejap. Right. Alright. Okay. Mana cepat tadi Okay, untuk EDD, earliest due date, mana earliest due date? Earliest due date should be yang paling due date yang paling awal sekali adalah job B. So it should be started from B, A, D, C, and E. Okay, and then LPT sequence, kalau LPT longest. Okay, longest processing time. Okay, longest processing time should be daripada yang mana paling processing time yang paling lama sekali adalah E, kan? 9 hari kat sini. So it should started on E. Okay, from E, C, A, D goes to B. Okay. So dia punya semua formula ni semua samalah. Average completion time, utilization metric, average number of job in the system, average job lateness. Dia punya formula semua sama. Okay. Right. And then these are the summary of rules. So we should have average completion time, days, utilization metric, average number of jobs in the system, average lateness days, FCFS 15.4, 36.4. Okay, maksudnya you conclude. Okay, you conclude for every answers that you get here. Okay, every answers here in this table, then you put in this summary lah sebenarnya. Okay, so you can see that FCFS average lateness days 2.2, SPT 1.8, EDD 1.2, LPT 9.6. Semua ni lah. Maksudnya the answers that you get from table blue table here. Okay, blue table here. Then kat sini you dapat apa kat sini ni, so you masukkan dalam summary kat sini lah. Okay, alright. Okay, so comparison of sequencing rule. No one sequencing rule excels on all criteria. SPT does well on minimizing flow time and number of jobs in the system, but SPT moves long jobs to the end, which may result in dissatisfied customers. FCFS does not do especially well or poorly on any criteria, but is perceived as fair by customers. Then EDD minimize maximum lateness. Okay, right. So if there is, I guess, if let's say you have any questions, you can raise up to me. Okay, if there is no questions, I think we should end of the topic right now. Okay, so that's all for our session. Okay, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay, I will upload the notes. Okay, the notes in our WhatsApp group. Okay, that's all. Thank you.